Thanks, Angus. Thanks a lot. We now come to the 10-minute rule motion, Disposable Barbecues. I now call Robert Largan.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that leave be given to bring in a bill to prohibit the use of disposable barbecues on open moorland, to give local authorities the power to regulate the sale of disposable barbecues in their area and for connected purposes. This year alone, at least 2 wildfires have been caused by disposable barbecues in High Peak, destroying hectares of farmland and environmentally significant peatland. In 2019, a fire in Marsden Moor, near Huddersfield, raged for 4 days and damaged over 700 hectares of moorland. A similar fire in April 2021 caused an estimated £200,000 worth of damage. In addition to this crude financial cost lies an environmental one. This is damage that will take hundreds, if not thousands of years to repair, with peat accumulating at a rate of around just 1 millimetre per year. Distressed sheep farmers have also conveyed to me the pain that they have experienced being forced to clear up the charred remains of their own livestock. Mr. Speaker, every year from the spring to the summer, communities across the country live in fear of wildfires that are entirely avoidable. A local gamekeeper once told me that there are 3 main causes of wildfires: men, women and children. But more specifically, a large number of fires are caused simply by people not disposing of their barbecue properly, leaving it unattended on the ground where its residual heat or a stray spark are enough to start a fire. Mr. Speaker, the aims of this bill are simple: to reduce the risk of wildfire and protect our beautiful countryside, to protect local communities faced with the threat of wildfires, to protect hard-pressed farmers' livelihoods, and to protect carbon-capturing peatland, which is so vital in our fight back against climate change. And this last point is particularly important, especially given the recent climate change agreement in Glasgow. The Glasgow Agreement is an important step forward. 65 countries have committed to phasing out the use of coal power. Some of the world's largest car manufacturers have agreed to make all new car sales zero emission by 2040, and the leaders of 90% of the world's forests have pledged to end deforestation by 2030. But alongside vital international cooperation, let's not forget the importance of nature-based solutions to climate change. Peatland restoration is an essential part of this. Wet, healthy peat soils absorb and trap carbon dioxide. Worldwide, it is estimated that peatland contains more than 550 gigatons of carbon. That's more than stored in all of the world's forests put together. In regulating the flow of groundwater, restoring peatland also reduces the risks of flooding, improves water quality, and enhances biodiversity. Since being elected, I have actively campaigned for the restoration of our local peat moors. I used my very first question in this House on this subject, and I'm proud to have secured a significant increase in funding for this vital work. I wholeheartedly welcome the government's England Peat Action Plan to restore, sustainably manage and protect peatland, as well as the increase in the Nature for Climate Fund to £750 million by 2024-25, with the aim of restoring 35,000 hectares of peatland across England. And I've seen firsthand the fantastic work that this funding makes possible. On Brown Knoll and Rushop Edge, one of the highest hills in the Peak District, Moors for the Future Partnership have been hard at work restoring peatland. And recently I took my right honourable friend, the Farming Minister, to meet Hope Valley farmers and to see the work on Brown Knoll. And I'm encouraged by the leadership the government have shown on this issue. But this work is meaningless if we are to continue to allow a reckless few to continue to destroy this precious resource by wildfire. Mr. Speaker, I didn't come into politics to tell people how to live their lives, and this bill certainly doesn't set out to do that. But as a Conservative, I firmly believe that we hold a duty to future generations, not only to conserve what we have today, but to leave them with a greater inheritance than our own. While this bill represents only a modest change to the law, it would be a mistake to overlook its significance. And the aims of this bill are not new. In fact, they build on work that a range of organisations have already undertaken. The New Forest and Peak District National Park authorities, for example, have already banned the use of disposable barbecues within their boundaries and call for local retailers to stop their sale. I've had considerable success in convincing retailers to remove them from sale within High Peak and pay tribute to responsible businesses like Morrison's who've removed them from sale in their Buxton store. The Co-op have also removed display of disposable barbecues in 130 of its stores that border national parks. The National Fire Chiefs Council, Greater Manchester Fire Service, Moorland Associations, Moors for the Future and the National Trust among others, have all warned of the danger that disposable barbecues present and have called for tougher regulations of their use. This bill does just that. While the Countryside Code already sets out an expectation that visitors should only barbecue where it has been deemed safe to do so, there is no law that enforces this guidance. Without one, there is widespread confusion and ignorance, sowing the seeds for future wildfires. This bill seeks to clarify the law, banning the use of disposable barbecues on open moorland. I'm incredibly grateful to colleagues on both sides of this House for the positive cross-party support that this bill has received. I've worked hard with a range of partners to ensure that this bill is fit for purpose, and I will keep working in a bipartisan spirit to do so. I'm aware that, as a 10-minute rule bill, there is little chance of this bill progressing into law at this stage. Nonetheless, I seriously urge the Government to listen to the concerns raised in this bill and to act on disposable barbecues, as well as redoubling their efforts to promote and educate people on the Countryside Code. To prevent wildfires, to protect farmers' livelihoods, and to build up our existing defences against climate change, this bill presents a small but significant way forward. Mr. Speaker, with this in mind, I humbly request for this bill to be given due consideration and to be passed into law.
Can I first of all say personally thank him for the bill, as he knows I was affected with those severe moorland fires in my constituency. The honourable member to have leave to bring in the bill. The question is that the honourable member have leave to bring in the bill. As many of that opinion say aye. Aye. The contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Who will prepare to bring in the bill?
John Barron, the Right Honourable Karen Bradley, the Right Honourable Damien Green, Andrew Gwynn, Simon Hoare, Helen Hayes, Kevin Hollinrake, Simon Jupp, Jason McCartney, Manira Wilson, the Right Honourable Sammy Wilson, and myself, Mr. Speaker.
Robert Largan.
Disposable Barbecues Bill.
Second reading what day?
14th of January, 2022.
We're going with January 2022. Absolutely. Don't worry. Okay. We now come to the first opposition day motion